Hello, welcome to Episode 12A of the Perfect Genetics Challenge, Generation 3. This is a part of a set of 3 episodes covering the process I undertook to keep the save running. The save had got to the point where it was crashing and I was unable to save in the main household. So in episode 11, which is about 13 minutes long, we went through those issues and the Sims moved to a new world, Alryne Valley. And in this episode, we continue on with how I've set up that world. Episode 12 was going to end up being about an hour long. So I broke it in half into 12A and 12B. So episode 12B is a continuation of this episode 12A. If you haven't seen episode 11, I would highly recommend you watch it before you watch this one. Watching episode 11 will allow you to understand why we are not in Vice City. There was a very good reason for that. It will let you understand clearly just what's going on. This episode will run for approximately 30 minutes, and then episode 12B runs for a similar time. This episode is totally based in the new world that I'm still in the process of setting up. That's Alryne Valley. In episode 13, I want to be back in the main household in Lucky Palms, because we need to move on and get Generation 4. I will assume that you've watched the previous 15-minute video or 13-minute video, and I'll pick up from here on with the assumption that you already know basics of the world and this household. And as you can see, the first problem I noticed was with the sprinklers wetting the floor. There was always going to be Sims constantly mopping up the floor. That was going to cause me problems. So the first thing I did to fix that was I moved all of the mats across to the edge of the floor, and I put fresh narrow mat strip down the other edge to make sure that there were no puddles to be mopped up from the sprinklers. I've noticed that Sims will ignore a puddle inside the house, but anything that's off in the distance that's going to cause major havoc to the progress of the game, they will go and take care of it autonomously every single time. They'll all try to go do it. And the other thing that they do with puddles is they will carry a toddler for a huge distance just so the toddler can splash in a puddle. It's the best indication that something has broken in the house is you see a Sim carrying a toddler to play in a puddle. But we're not going to have many toddlers in this particular game because we're not having any more babies in this household. Years ago, I made a tiny fishing spot for my game that I had in Barnacle Bay, and I had a fairy village at one end of it. And this little fishing spot is originally on a 15 by 10 lot, and I placed a 40 by 40 empty lot on this location and put the fishing spot in the middle of it. And I noticed the wild horses were gathering around it. I did eventually edit it. We'll probably see it again a few times, so I have expanded it to cover the whole 40 by 40 lot, but we'll see it again in this video. That's the unicorn there at the moment. I thought I'd show you the unicorn. I've noticed the wild horses gathered here quite a lot, but I think this is the only time I've come across the unicorn being here. Now, I've been concerned about young children and babies not being allowed to grow up in other households, and one of those households is the Brown household, and I've moved the toddler Therese from that household into this big household so she can finish off her toddler skills. She's almost finished them. And then I brought another toddler in here. He's been a baby for, years. So there he is there. That is Mark Walker, and his parents, both imaginary friends made real, Connie and Mateo Walker. They came from the Flower household in Mountain Lakes, and the eldest son of Don and Olivia, their firstborn child, is married to a fairy, and that is how Mateo and Connie got to be part of the Walker family. And this is their son, Mark. They've also got another older son, Jack, who's a child, and that's Poppy helping little Mark learn the xylophone. Poppy is an imaginary friend made real, and she's married to Oliver. and Oliver is the youngest son of Don and Olivia. And of course, Olivia is the founder of this Perfect Genetics Challenge. The other toddler that you saw earlier sitting in the walker, he is Poppy and Oliver's son, Phil. The school that I added to this world is the Nature and Nurture Learning Academy. I like to use it because it's very small, doesn't take up much space. It is a store item, and I believe you can download it individually, but it came with the world Aurora Skies. If it's in your game, you will find it in the community objects in build mode. And at last, I've got a world where the children going to school are from the main household and also children from households that I have played previously. They're not just Sims that the game has generated. So I'm happy. It's in the main part of town, and this lot was already here when I downloaded the world. It's a 30 by 28 lot, and I've added the fence and playground equipment to it. I've placed the Nautilus laboratories across the road from it. That rabbit hole came from the Island Paradise expansion pack, and the swimming pool that's not across the street from the school is from the Katy Perry Sweet Treats stuff pack, and that is Walter Thompson walking along the path there, and he is going to play a significant part later on in this video. The toddlers are still hard at work, and this time Oliver is helping little Mark with his xylophone skill. And Oliver is Poppy's husband. We saw Poppy there with little Mark earlier. And Therese is still reading the toddler books. That's all she's got to do now, is just read some more books. And then we'll age her up to child and put her back in with her family. She's got a sister who is a child as well. And when I moved them into Vice City, both of the girls were toddlers, and I aged one up, but I didn't quite finish training Therese, so she stayed a toddler. So I really had it on my mind all the time. I have got to get that toddler aged up to child. And as soon as she's finished reading her books, she will have a birthday. But probably not a party. I'm not getting cakes for these children. I'll just use the mod to trigger age transition. Looks like little Mark is learning to potty. He has got all of his toddler books to read yet, and he's still got to learn to walk and talk and do the peg box, because he was a baby when I brought him in here. Now he's a toddler, so he's had no previous training. And now little Phil's been put in the playpen. I think he gets stuck in that playpen. I couldn't get him out. Had to reset him, but that comes towards the end of the video. Little Clara has done her child cooking skill, but she still needs to do her blocks, and she is joined by her imaginary friend made real, Parker. There was a bit of confusion with her imaginary friend made real. She ended up with two of them at the end of the video, but this is the original version of him, and I kept him plus the other one. It was all very confusing, but I sorted it out by saying we'll have two imaginary friends made real for her. I think I really wanted to keep little Parker because by the time I gave him his makeover, I realised that I'd made him to look a little bit like one of my little grandsons, so I couldn't throw him out. And then she had the doll at the end, and I decided, what do I do? Put it in the family inventory and ignore it, or let her make it real? So I just let her make it real, and he looks completely different. And now we've got little Mark and Phil making friends in the playpen. Hopefully they'll remember each other when they end up at school as children. And Therese is still reading the books. Most of those little houses and that street on the left there, they're copied from Vice City with the Sims that I brought in from Vice City, and I am gradually going to build each of those Sims their own much bigger house on their lot. And there's still quite a lot of vacant lots that came with the world that I haven't put anything on yet. The rabbit holes are all available in the community section of build mode. They are often also available in the library on a lot that's already been decorated for you. This is the Scrumptious Nibbles Cafe, and it came with the Town Life stuff pack, and it is available on a 20 by 30 lot in the library. But I didn't know that, and I was looking for a grocery store when I put this one down, and I almost deleted it, but then I decided I'd keep it, and there it is. And I've since decorated it, and I think I'll keep this one in my game since I've spent the time to do the decoration of it. Looks quite different to the version of it that is in the library. I think I like the one in the library better than what I've done with it here. So I still could change my mind at some point and replace it. Now this is a 32 by 40 lot that had nothing on it. It's in the centre of town, and I wanted a place where I could have the Sims come and collect things, and I also wanted to put the wishing well and the tree of prosperity on the same lot, because when you do that at night time there are fireflies flying over the wishing well. And at the back of the lot I have added spawners. I needed to adjust a few things because the Sims had some routing issues in there, but I'm quite happy with it at this point, and the Sims seem to like it because they go there. Now this is that little fishing spot that I showed you earlier. I've made the fishing hole a bit bigger because it's on a much bigger lot than it was originally on, and I've put some wild plants there, different harvestables, and I've come back later on and I've given them a salt lick out of by debug. I'm sort of hoping if they lick it enough they might get some Zanieta magic gnomes appearing around the little fishing spot. There's a few wild horses there at the moment. That red-capped mushroom there near that horse at the front, that is custom content. It's a seat. The Sims can sit on that. There's at least one other one of those red-topped mushroom seats on this lot. Oh, there is Eunice fishing there. There are a few spawners in there, and I added a kissing gourmet spawner as well. Wanted to make sure there was one of them in the world. I also came back later on and added a fairy castle. There's no fairies in the world, but there's facilities for them. That big building lit up in the background is the Ultimate Venue. It is similar to the Hoi Polloi Event Centre, but the Ultimate Venue was only available with the Showtime Special Edition or the Katy Perry edition of Showtime. It looks like little Clara went home after school with one of the boys from the Cooper household, and that is Raina Cooper, sitting there reading at the table. In this game, we're going to hop around various households so I can fix up their homes and influence their lives. Raina Cooper is engaged to Bobby Walker, and Bobby was Cindy's imaginary friend made real. And Cindy is the mother of Generation 2, and Bill, who is in this world at the moment, is her husband. And now we're at the house that I've built fresh for Denise. Denise is Donna's older sister, and we know Donna is the current heir and the mother of Generation 3, and there is Denise in her new home sitting at her computer. I decided to give her a very colourful dining room because she's a very colourful Sim. This is the ground floor of her new home, and I've transferred all of her old belongings that she needs to keep from the house that she was living in while she was in Vice City. But I've now demolished that house. It's been bulldozed away, and I've built this house on the lot that I had placed it on, and now we are in her basement downstairs. This is her main living area. Upstairs she can have visitors, and she can lock the door that gives access to the staircase down to the basement if that's what she wants to do. And I've set it up so she can have babies, because I want her to have at least one baby before I go back to the main household in Lucky Palms. So that means she's going to have to get married. And she's been boyfriend-girlfriend sort of relationship with her imaginary friend made real, Riley, since they were teenagers. But I've decided I don't want her children to be imaginary friends born in game or anything other sort of imaginary friends. So I've decided to find her a husband from one of the Sims that I have transferred here from Vice City and came from my library to Vice City originally. So we'll see what happens. So now that she had her house, I wasn't wasting any time. I decided she could call up a likely Sim and arrange a date. Now, she'd already met up with Walter Thompson. We saw him earlier walking around the swimming pool that was from the Katy Perry Sweet Treats pack. Before she called Walter, though, she had gone to visit Riley and asked him if they could just be friends. So they're no longer boyfriend and girlfriend. So she's a free woman. She can do what she wants. Riley seemed to be a little bit upset about it, but while they were still living in Vice City, I noticed him flirting with a few other female Sims. So I think he'll be okay. Walter has showed up. There they are, getting to know each other a bit better. This is going to be an absolute whirlwind of a romance because I'm in a hurry. I want to get back to the main household in Lucky Palms and proceed on to Generation 4. So these two are just going to stand and talk and get to know each other and flirt and become boyfriend and girlfriend, then get engaged and get married as fast as possible. And then we'll have a baby. And then I'll leave them alone while I move on to interfere with the lives of Sims in another household. Meanwhile, Clara's imaginary friend made real, Parker, has visited the Cake Pleasure Dome. This is that venue with the birthday candles on top. Came with the Katy Perry sweet treats. I've added some bakery shelves in here so Sims can come and buy cakes and pastries and things. This sim is Betty Babcock. We won't be seeing much of her in this episode. She's a sim that I made way back when Barnacle Bay was first released. I played with her a lot when I first made her, but then I barely touched her over the years. But I put her into Vice City when I added all those extra sims into that world. And now I've moved her from Vice City into Alryne Valley. Now, this little girl walking along towards us now is Stella Brown, and her little sister Therese was one of the toddlers who we were training at the very beginning of this episode. And the teen with her is Mary Brown, and she is the little girl's half-sister. Now, Mary and her father, I made them a long time ago, perhaps about 2010, I just don't remember. I've hardly ever played them, but I've put them in a few games over the years and never done much with them. But now her father is Les, and he is married to Phyllis. So initially I just made them as a single father and daughter, and now he's got married and he has had these two little girls with his wife Phyllis. And I've made Phyllis a long time ago as well. I think the first game I put her in, she was married to Salty Seaworth, and she was the sim who got me the badge for having a mermaid baby. The sim sitting on her own there eating is Meryl Gordon. She's a base game only sim. She's in my studio on the Exchange. And that sim with the white coat on there, he is Mateo. We won't see much of any of those sims in this episode, but this is our happy couple driving to their first date out of the house. That's Denise and Walter. There they are, they've arrived. This is the little venue that I made a few years ago. I actually made it to sit in Riverview. And Sims like to come here. I like to play ball with this basketball hoop that sits outside. And Denise was happy to meet up with Lana because Lana and Denise grew up in the same household. Lana is the imaginary friend made real of Denise's younger sister Donna, and Donna is the mother of Generation 4, and she lives in Lucky Palms. I've got lots of things inside here, and I've probably put too much in it, I usually do. They've got to go down a set of steps to the basement to get into this building, and they're going to do that, and they're going to have a ride on the Ferris wheel, and we'll see what happens next. But first, Denise is going to pause to have a little game of hoops with Lana. And the sim that walked past earlier in the pink was Wendy Worthy, and she is a sim I haven't played much. She's not particularly old. I've made it at some stage in the last 4 or 5 years. Meanwhile, Denise and Lana are having a good time, but Denise is needed inside the dome. Walter wants her to join him on a ride in the Ferris wheel, and he's already on, and there she's paid her money, and there she is on as well. So they're going around for their ride. I hope they're having fun. At least they're doing something together. The Ferris wheel is custom content made by Douglas Vega. It is available on Mod The Sims. If you do a search for Sims 3 Ferris wheel, you should find it quite easily. It looks like Walter has got romance on his mind. Oh, flowers. They match her hair colour. And a dip kiss. Now she almost made it as the air, but her eyes were the wrong colour. And a massage. She's enjoying that massage. Oh, stretch. Some more kissing. Oh, Let's take it to the next step. Yes, she says. She's so happy. Just what she wanted. Big hug. Now what? They're having a wonderful afternoon together, aren't they? Oh, I see a wedding arch over there. She's thinking about a party. Are they going to do it? Looks like it, doesn't it? They're walking over there with purpose. They're standing under the arch. There's no guests. Not to worry. It's the next best thing to a totally private wedding. Well, that took a while, but finally they are now Mr. and Mrs. Walker Thompson. Hopefully they will be happy together, and Walter is going to move into her house, make himself at home there. Now they had a need for books. Denise stayed home and she's pregnant, and Walter has visited China, France and Egypt with the task of buying all of the books that are available for their skills, cooking and fishing bait books, and he's about to deliver them home. We didn't get any video of him in China or France, and he's come up and met the unicorn, and it's broad daylight, and somehow or other it's able to bring water up into the sand, and when it drinks it has its rainbow. I thought it was a pretty sight, so you better see it. He'll be going home shortly to deliver his books, and Denise will be almost ready to have the baby, and then we can move on to the next household. And he arrives home, and there is another unicorn and a lighthouse. Let's go and see how Denise is doing. And so Walter had a huge effort and went and got all of these books, and now he's got to sit and read them all. Oh well, and looks like Denise is about ready to have the baby. Denise had a wish to visit the Arboretum, so she left Walter at home reading his books, and she went on her own little adventure in the Arboretum. She was looking for fairies. She didn't find any, but she got some fairy dust, I think. This is the Supernatural Park. I think I've put it in my studio on the Exchange. It's just got the 3 supernatural rabbit holes on it, the Gypsy Wagon, the Arboretum and the Vault of Antiquity. I almost made the mistake of getting her to talk to Baby's Breath. Was fortunate I didn't, because she's pregnant, and I've gone to a lot of trouble to make sure that her baby is not an occult. And apparently talking to Baby's Breath, if you're pregnant, can have the baby become a random occult. I suppose it would have been interesting, but not what I wanted. Hello, the baby's coming, and I thought this hospital was just so drab that I was going to change it. It is a store item. It came with the World Midnight Hollow, so I suppose you could go into Midnight Hollow and copy its lot to the library if you wanted to get it already done up. Haven't done that yet either. I discovered something hilariously funny that I've never seen before, because I've never had this hospital that I've sent a sim to it to have a baby. Various sims were going inside and they just vanish inside, so I thought I'd go and see if I could see anything inside. And look, they're all inside panicking because she's having the baby. I've only ever seen that happen in the house, and it's sort of all that panic is over and done with by the time she goes to the hospital. But everyone's coming there just to panic. And that's Betty Babcock, who we saw earlier in the cake shop. And now Lana is going in there. That's Donna's imaginary friend made real, and she's doing a good panicked dance. Betty's had enough, she's coming out again. Next one to go in is Eunice. Lana makes room for her to have her little panic attack. This childbirth thing is a real community effort with this hospital. Eunice and Lana have decided to have a chat, and Betty seems to be stuck there to get her out if she stays there for too long. Yet Eunice and Lana grew up together in the same household. And now one of the orcs has turned up. There's 3 of them in the world, and they all want to be the Emperor of Evil. And he's come there just to panic. Betty's come out, and maybe she ran away from that orc. He wants to be the Emperor of Evil, but he can still have a good panic attack over a birth happening in his local hospital. They can all stop panicking now because she's had the baby, and it's a little girl, and named her Alice. And this will be the only baby born during this visit to this world. And she became an eccentric genius. And she is going to remain a baby as soon as she gets home. We're going to put her in her cot and then go to another household. And she won't be aging up in this episode. That looks like it could be Popsy and Patty there turned up to see the new baby. Looks like Patsy's talking to the orc. There's Walter coming out. He's going to go home with his wife and their baby girl, and we'll catch up with them in the nursery. Walter seems to be very happy with the way his life is going now. He's been a bit lost in the game for a while. I thought he might end up with Wendy Hope, because they were living next to each other in Vice City, but nothing happened there. And look, here she is going into her cot. There's a spare cot there. They could possibly have another baby at some stage, but we will leave them there now and move on to one of the other households. It turns out in this world the game has started matching up couples, and I got a notification that Byron and Wendy Hope had become a couple, that they were engaged. So I thought I'd just have to build them a house, because they were both living in the tiny houses that I'd moved them here from Vice City. Now Byron is the imaginary friend made real of Debbie's brother, Daryl, and he is the one that prompted me to add all these extra Sims to Vice City, because the game organised for him to have a bachelor party, and when I investigated him at the bachelor party, I discovered he didn't even have a girlfriend or a boyfriend or anything like that, but now he's got a fiancée, and we're going to see their new house and then leave them alone, because I'm not going to worry about getting them married at this point or anything else. I just want to set up their home. At the moment, they're going around their house upgrading things. They both had wishes to either upgrade 5 objects or to just improve the handiness skill. Wendy had already upgraded 1, so she only needed to upgrade 4 more objects. And I'm not sure what Byron had to do now, but he's upgrading the sink in the kitchen. And all of the stuff that he had made and brought with him from his original home when they were all living in Appaloosa Plains, and he's got that all here in this house. Wendy didn't have anything really to bring with her because she came out of the library as a new sim. I mean, I made her years ago, but this version of her hasn't been played before, and I've never played her very much. So they got the house all set up for a family, but they're not going to have one during this visit. They're just setting up their home, and I'm just showing you quickly through it. Then we're going to move on to the next household. We've got to get this episode finished. That is their staircase. It goes up to the 2nd level, and they can lock the door to it so that any visitors can come into the ground level part of the house but not go upstairs. And this is the front room just across from the kitchen. Wendy's come home from work early and she's reading in their front room. You can see the kitchen through the doorway there. And it's all Byron's stuff that he's brought with him, his photos and trophies and things. Now let's have a quick look upstairs. There's one big room up here, and there is a main bedroom and a nursery and an ensuite bathroom between, just that runs in from the main bedroom. So there's all Byron's potions that he made and some insects that he's caught. I like to spin the dice when I'm choosing objects and take potluck with what colours they come out at. I think I'm having a lot of fun doing that. I've just given them this bed, and that's Byron's mirror from when he was at school, and they've got their little bathroom in here, and they've got the nursery. At this stage I've put one cot and also a small bed and a stroller in there. So they've got a basic setup to start a family for if ever I come back in here and play them. And they've got all their books. Byron had all of his cookbooks from when he was learning to cook in his inventory, and they're all in that bookcase now, so Wendy can learn cooking and she can learn all of the recipes that he learnt. That's one of the reasons why I get them to read all the recipes, is so they can take the recipe books with them to their new home. So that's it for them. I'd be interested to see if the game ever gives them a baby. Okay, this is a quick look at their house from the exterior, and they've got 2 cars. That's the blue one belongs to Byron, and Wendy's got the little white Prius. That house across the road, the one with the tower, that's where we're going next. It's going to spend a while with that household. That's where Bobby lives with his family, and Bobby is Cindy's imaginary friend made real. But that is for the next episode, episode 12B. We will visit that household. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have, please give it a like, and I'll hopefully see you in the next episode. Bye bye for now, and happy simming.